Good evening and welcome to this evening's webinar on shared platforms. I'm Tia. I'm one of the talent acquisition managers here from the Specialist Talent Acquisition and Recruitment team, and I undertake recruiting on behalf of DWP Digital. With me is Van Kirwan, my colleague from the same team, and also Jacqui Leggetter, who is one of the Deputy Directors in Shared Platforms and Head of Integration. Welcome, Jacqui. Thrilled to have you.
Thank you for having me.
So many thanks for tuning in and watching this interactive webinar today. It's going to run for approximately 30 minutes and we're going to be giving you an overview of who we are and what we're doing at DWP Digital, and most importantly what our values and ambitions are. So hopefully you can get an insight into our workplace, whether you want to be a part of it, working with others who care very passionately about public service and who want to make a difference and deliver to our customers. We'll let you know about our recruitment process as well as the job opportunities that we have here, but also we'd like to hear directly from you. So as we go along, we can give you answers, so don't forget to tap in your questions into the screen. Our Twitter handle is hashtag DWP Shared Platforms Webinar, so don't forget to ask us the questions as we go along. So we've also got our channels open on LinkedIn, YouTube and Twitter. Remember to include your name with a question in case we don't have time to answer it today. We'll endeavour to answer as many questions as we can towards the end of the webinar. If we don't get to them all in the allotted time that we have, we'll endeavour to answer back over the next few days. So where do we start? Well, to give you some background, DWP Digital is a community of digital professionals within the Department for Work and Pensions. It's one of the largest UK government organisations, and we have over 85,000 people. We're currently delivering a once-in-a-generation digital transformation of DWP's products and services. These services are used by millions of people every day, including some of the most vulnerable in our society. The goal is to make these services easier to access and more efficient to deliver. We want to deliver world-class service, and we need to bring in the best digital talent to enable us to do that. Our specialist in-house recruitment team is responsible for finding and bringing in those people. We work closely with our managers and digital experts to understand who and what we are looking for. We search the marketplace, we build relationships with candidates who have the skills that we're looking for and who share our values, and we tell people who might not know what DWP is doing and why it's a great place to be a digital specialist. We're still evolving and improving, but we aim to give the best possible candidate experience. We recruit under principles of fair and open competition. We just want the best possible person for each role. And I'm going to hand you over to Van, who's going to introduce Shared Platforms with Jacqui.
And from the Shared Platforms team, we've got Jacqui, and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
Can you tell us a bit more about your practice area and how it impacts the public?
Sure. So Shared Platforms is the core systems that sit at the heart of DWP Digital. It's all of those enabling systems that deliver the underlying infrastructure and technical platform that support and enable line of business specific systems. So we have three core areas within Shared Platforms. One is our citizen information space. Within citizen information, we hold 100 million plus citizen records.
Wow.
A huge area. And the second area that we have is integration. And in the integration space, it does what it says on the tin. It delivers integration services across line of business systems, passes data and information around DWP out to other government departments and to external partners like utility companies, insurance companies, etc. etc. So we process more than 50 million messages every single day. We also process over 10,000 file transfers with thousands and thousands of lines of data within those files.
Brilliant.
And last but not least is our payment area. And within our payment area, again, a critical service for DWP, making payments universal credit, health, out to pensioners, child maintenance, and working age people. So we issue payments to 22 million citizens at any given point, and we're issuing between 700 million and £1 billion every single day. That can increase during peak bank holiday periods over
Certainly.
Christmas and bank holidays. And the payments touch around about 34% of the UK population. It is likely that someone within your family touches the services that we deliver in DWP, be it a grandparent, aunt, uncle, whatever. And the payments that we issue actually make up around 32% of all BACS payments in the UK. So everything that we do in shared platforms is not only on a big scale, but a massive
Almost
scale.
a third. Indeed, indeed. So starting with, let's say, citizen information, can you tell us a bit more about the projects within that area?
Sure. So there's lots of great projects in flight, but in the citizen information space in particular, I'm going to talk about 3 or 4 projects. The Searchlight project is a new front-end application that the team have developed, an award-winning project actually. It's just won the National Technology Awards for Best Public Sector Project. So it's a front end that enables users, staff in DWP, 85,000 of them, to access and view those 100 million citizen records. And the next stage for Searchlight is to roll out to cross-government and reach more tens of thousands of users. There's some legacy transformation going on in that space as well, upgrading and updating and moving away from legacy batch updates into real-time events and microservices technology. There's Apply for a National Insurance Number project, which is currently citizens coming into the UK who don't have a national insurance number, or citizens who are already in the UK who don't have a national insurance number, which is a key identifier for DWP. Current process is very paper-based, very time-lagged, and it blocks people from working. So the Apply for a National Insurance Number project is delivering a new citizen interactive online service.
Automated.
So some great user research roles in there, and delivering a new online service in conjunction with the Home Office, so some good cross-government working there as well. And last but not least project I'm going to talk about in citizen information is the Finder project. So the Finder project is an interactive matching service. So again, for citizens, for DWP, we use the national insurance number as a key identifier. Some citizens don't know their national insurance numbers, and other government departments don't use the national insurance number as an identifier. So the general matching service will help people match the records, and will help other government departments match records using things other than the national insurance number. So that's just a flavour of some of the great projects that's going on in that space.
It sounds critical and innovative as well. And what about the integration piece?
Sure. So in the integration space, we're moving away from the large-scale enterprise service bus type technologies into a real-time, event-driven API architecture. So one of the great projects that we've got is our new API exchange that's just completed alpha and about to go into private beta. And what that is delivering a joined-up API registry and gateway, and that's going to deliver a self-service integration for real-time data sharing and real-time information. Some of the projects that we're delivering on that platform are things like other government departments. So we've got a good project underway jointly with the NHS at the minute, which is going to be giving a real-time view on free prescription. So currently, as a citizen goes into a pharmacist to claim a prescription, it's all self-certified, checked after the event. The rules can be quite confusing for people on what they're entitled to and what they're not. And what we're enabling is for pharmacists to do a real-time check from the NHS using the DWP benefits call to confirm right there and then on the spot. So that's the difference that we can make through that API
Quick
platform.
authentication.
Yeah, great. And also in that space and integration, we're delivering a new event service. So again, citizen impacting. We want citizens to be able to tell us about a change of circumstances once or an event once. So if, for example, someone wants to report a date of death, they can report that date of death and we can take that and notify it to all interested parties. So for the family who are suffering a bereavement, there's no issue with them having to tell different government departments. That's in its infancy in the event project, so that's kicking off. And we've got some file transformation. We're moving away from old FTP servers into real-time synchronous file transfer using HTTPS. We talk about having a dumb pipe with any transformation at the edges. So some real innovation going on in that space as well.
Fantastic. And you mentioned earlier about payments, which also takes up almost a third of the UK banking transaction, well, BACS transactions anyway. Can you tell us a bit more about the payments area, please?
Yeah, so the projects in the payments area, they're currently in the midst of a major Oracle rewrite and application refresh for the current payment service. And of course, one of our underlying priorities across all of the areas is to keep the lights on the current services and keep them refreshed while we build new innovative longer term solutions. So while keeping the lights on and refreshing that, there's some great new projects in the future payment world, and particularly working with the Bank of England on new payment methods such as blockchain and looking at distributed ledger technology for accounting, so the accounting side as well as the payment side. So some great innovative work going on there in the future payment space as well.
Brilliant. Thank you, Jacqui, for that wonderful summary that the team does. That's absolutely vital. So for some who are watching that might be interested in working for you, okay, what are some of the key technical skills that you might be looking for?
Okay, so in the roles that we have available, we have round about 30 roles available in this exercise.
Oh, could you give us a quick overview of those roles, please?
Sure, yeah. So in those roles, we have some product owner roles. Product owner roles are not as technical as some of the engineering roles. We have application and software engineering roles. We have test engineer roles, service transition manager roles, and user researcher roles. And across the piece, we have roles at varying levels. So some are at entry level, some are at a senior level, and some are at a lead level. And the amount of experience that we expect will be reflected in the level of the role. Those are in the campaign that are attached to the shared platform webinar that we're doing today, but there are other campaigns in the pipeline as well that's worth a mention. So we have a digital project manager campaign underway. Closing date is the 8th of August. So
don't forget, guys, 8th of August. Good plug.
Absolutely. We have a DevOps campaign that's due to run mid-August, early September, and we have a business analyst exercise due to run late August. So you'll recognise all of these roles are traditional roles in agile teams, and that's what we're looking for. We're seeking people to come and work in our agile teams, help supplement some of the great talent that we have in DWP already. And whether you're at the start of your career looking to grow technically, looking to grow skills, or you're very experienced in your career, either end of that spectrum, there's space in DWP Digital because we are recruiting at all levels.
So speaking of technical roles, what are some of the technical skills that's important to you?
Sure. So in the shared platforms, we're looking for developers or engineers, and testing in particular is very much automated testing. So it's using behaviour-driven development and testing. Testing and software engineering work really closely together. We use mostly Java, JavaScript, but there are other technologies that come into that as well. We're looking for people with experience of operating with a CI/CD pipeline, continuous development, 24/7 uptime, so creating code that we can drop small changes into without losing services. We're using cloud environments like AWS and Azure, and we use Ansible and Terraform scripts for doing the code drops, and we're deploying using Docker and Kubernetes containers. So any experience in those types of fields, even if not those specific technologies, within those types of fields is what we're really looking for. And within the systems, the new applications that we're building, we're currently using things like Prometheus and Grafana for monitoring and analytics. So again, people who are familiar with that built-in, always-up mentality.
Brilliant. And for the non-technical roles, okay, and I think there could be a crossover between what in the core components of some of the things that's really important, okay, outside of the technical skills. What would that look like?
Sure. So whether you're in a technical role or non-technical role, the persona that we're really looking for.
Attributes.
Those attributes. People who have a genuine interest in technology, even if you're not a technologist, genuine interest in technology and a genuine interest in improving public services. The one thing that you will find in DWP is we are really passionate about those services that we deliver, whether they're for our citizens or for staff who are frontline and serving our citizens. So being passionate about making those improvements. We're looking for people who are self-driven, takes the initiative, has a positive outlook, and takes the initiative. They don't wait to be told what to do. We want people to be innovative. We want people to take risks, measured risks. We want people to innovate. And alongside that, we want people to come to us who are maybe good-humoured, who like cake. We eat a lot of cake, we eat a lot of pizza in shared platforms as well.
Really available, guys.
Absolutely.
Cake stands.
And who are up for Chicken Friday or Vegetarian Pizza Friday, whichever. So those are the kind of people, really driven, really innovative, people who want to make a difference.
Brilliant. So thank you, Jacqui. And
Thanks,
don't
Jacqui.
forget to tweet your questions at DWP Jobs for upcoming Q&A segment. And also you can use our handle, DWP Shared Platforms or Webinar. Back to Tia.
So we get lots of questions around how to apply and what a good application looks like. So I'm just going to run through some of our process just to give you guys an idea of what to expect, I guess, and the best way to apply for a role here at DWP Digital. So we advertise in lots of different places, and all of our roles, all of our current roles are posted on DWP Careers and also Civil Service Jobs. Civil Service Jobs has got all the government departments, including DWP Digital, and that hosts hundreds and hundreds of different roles. We also advertise on the usual suspects, LinkedIn, Total Jobs, JobServe, all of which can be found in the description below, all the links to our job boards. If you ever want to apply, there should be, if we've done our job correctly, a click to apply button on those adverts, and you'll be redirected to the application portal where you can complete an online application. Unfortunately, we can't accept direct CVs or emailed CVs. It has to go through the portal in fair and open competition policy. And if you've got any questions during or preliminary questions prior to application, the team, myself, Van, and other members of the TAM team are quite happy to answer any questions or queries that you might have on your application that you'd like to submit, or just have a general chat about the role and see if it's for you. Make sure that you follow any notes or instructions if it asks you for specific examples or criteria within the essential components of the role. Show off a little bit, tell us what you can do and why you're good for the role. We're not looking for chapter and verse in our supporting statement. We just want an indication of how you think you fit that role, and some demonstrable skills of what is essentially in the job criteria. So that's a kind of summary of what you'd expect. Once you've applied, every single application is viewed anonymously by the hiring manager, so none of it gets sifted out. Everybody gets a fair crack at the whip, and you'll be able to book your interview online. It's fully automated in line with our digital services. It's all online. You don't have to waste any time arranging interview schedules. It's all there at a push of a button. The recruitment process is really simple. It's a one-stop shop, single-face interview, and our aim is to have a 4-week turnaround from a close of campaign, which it normally runs for about 2 weeks, to offer. So offers, if you're successful, normally go out a few days or a couple of days after the interview process is complete, and we'll get in touch with you either way and let you know whether you've been successful or not, and give you some feedback if you didn't quite make it. We consider all applications, as we said, so don't be afraid of not feeling that you've got the suitable skills. Every person gets assessed individually. So I'm going to hand you back over to Van, and while we gather our questions together, don't forget our hashtag DWP Shared Platforms webinar. Van.
So we will be discussing some of the common questions we often get as recruiters here at DWP Digital. And so while we gather that information, gather those questions, Tia will sort of discuss some of the common questions that we often receive, and discuss some of the wonderful work locations we also have.
Okay, thanks, Van. So we're in Westminster today, in the heart of central government. It's not just one location that we have here. Well, there's actually 6 locations nationwide in the UK. We have digital hubs in Leeds, Newcastle, Sheffield, Blackpool and Manchester. Each of these hubs is a modern, vibrant workplace and designed for members of our digital community. They have the best they all have the best in their respective locations, range of facilities from trendy cafes and restaurants, and access to activities like indoor football in Newcastle, ping pong, gym facilities and loads more. There's also lots of chill out areas that you can recharge. We've invested heavily in creating amazing agile workspaces to fuel that creative process and provide the latest tech and tooling. And this fosters a collaborative culture to help our agile teams think big and try new things. So what does working for DWP Digital mean? So as we said, it's working alongside people who care passionately about public service, about making a difference, about delivering to our customers and improving those public services. So we've got over 85,000 people. Don't forget, we're one of the biggest UK departments. There's lots of opportunities available in what is a diverse and multicultural teams. We're very much an equal opportunities employer. We welcome applications regardless of age, gender, race or sexuality. So lots of other different questions that we get, or common questions, and I'm going to hand you back over to Van. who's going to talk to us about what career development looks like at DWP Digital, and maybe Jacqui can come in here as well.
Absolutely. So learning and development is extremely important to DWP Digital. Each department, each vertical has a clearly defined career path and progression plan in place, and we recruit from associate level to senior management level as well. And in fact, Jacqui, who's extremely passionate about developing a team, can also discuss career development within her department.
Sure. So in DWP, you have a home within your function, and within your function, whether it's shared platform or a line of business, you will develop skills that are specific to delivering the services for that function. So for example, if you are working on the API platform, you will develop new skills on developing world-class APIs and using world-class API tooling. But then also within your practice that's linked to the role that you do. So whether you're a business analyst, a product owner, or a software engineer, you will belong to a community of practice that's linked to your role. And within that practice, say for example as a software engineer, as part of the engineering practice, there are loads of opportunities for development, both in terms of developing new skills at the level that you're at, and career pathways that help you progress within that particular practice. Or indeed, if you want to change practice, we have experience of software engineers that joined us 12-18 months ago and upskilled and moved in from a software engineer to a DevOps engineer, and very recently moved into our site reliability engineering. So there are different roles that people can move into. We've had business analysts change to product owners as well.
You're not stuck in one place. There's lots of
absolutely
sideways and internal mobility.
Sideways and upwards movement within DWP, within digital, and of course cross-government. Working in shared platforms particularly opens up a unique opportunity in working on lots of great cross-government projects. So there are opportunities as well cross-government.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So another common question we get is what sort of work-life balance and job flexibility can you get at DWP Digital? And this is really important because we recognise the complexity and potential tensions for employees that have to juggle their work and home priorities. So whether you're a working mom or dad, or you are a carer, or you are looking after elderly parents, or you're coming back to work after having a baby, for example, we're committed to providing you with reasonable personal freedom and ability to balance those different priorities successfully. And we're realistic. We want you to contribute fully to delivering what is a first class public service, but at the same time we understand that you need to be in control of some of those flexible hours, or have some flexibility around your working schedule. So we promote diversity and inclusion, and we recognise that employees must have some control when it comes to working around certain events in life or issues that they might have. So we're really focused on helping you to achieve our objectives, but at the same time we're realistic in making sure that you're happy in that environment. So Van, another questions that we get are around what it means for those flexible hours or working times. So maybe you can elaborate a little bit on that.
No, absolutely. So as mentioned before, for some who are parents or some who are carers as well, we do offer flexible start times and finish times as well. And so whether that's an early start at 7 or 8 or a later start in the day, we can accommodate that as well. We can also vary the length and the time of your lunch breaks, again, to try and get that flexible working hours. I can testify to the fact that being here in Caxton House in St. James, quite a few members of staff go run in in St. James Port during lunch as well, without any issues. Again, trying to achieve that perfect work-life balance as well. We also allow employees to accrue flexi credits and deficits. It is part of the incentive scheme that we offer. Again, the overall focus is to achieve that good balance between work life but also your home life as well. And again, we do allow people to take time off under special circumstances and needs, so we are open to many different options.
And all of this links with what is a regular working pattern of around 37 hours a week, and that's a commitment for full-time staff. But there's also opportunities to work part-time as well, or pro rata, depending on what your lifestyle is or what other commitments that you might have. We have family-friendly policies and a real understanding of general life commitments.
And please don't forget, if you have any specific questions, please type away and we're happy to answer. The tag, once again, is DWP, Shared Platforms. And just to discuss some of the questions we may have at the moment.
So while we look at those questions and you have a look at what's come in, we're going to go back to the focus of the webinar, which is the shared services platforms, and talk to Jacqui about some of the projects that you're currently working on within shared platforms, and how you think or how these projects are going to improve citizens' lives or day-to-day life.
Sure. So although in the shared platform space, there's very few of our products actually touch the citizen as a front-end application, all of the shared platform assets deliver outcomes for citizens. And it's all about that. The word is shared, and being able to tell us something once, and other line of businesses being able to access that piece of information, or multiple lines of business systems being able to issue payments in a consistent manner, or being able to use citizen information in a consistent manner. So one of the key things that we're right at the heart of is trying to work with our data colleagues in driving data standards and ensuring that we're making the best use of the data that we have, and that we're using that data to improve things for citizens, which will ultimately deliver things like self-service for citizens, straight-through processing, removing some of those lengthy time lags that we have. Citizens wait for papers in the post or whatever, moving to a much more online interaction or multi-channel, omni-channel. If we think about people want to sometimes move between paper, online, telephony, it's really difficult to do that at the minute, but with some of the new technologies, and particularly in the API space, it enables people to make those switches seamless, and you get that single holistic view of citizens. So over time we're laying all of the enabling technology that enables that to happen, that ultimately impacts on those citizen facing services.
Thanks, Jacqui. So let's have a look at some of the questions that have come in, what you've sent in for us so far. So
we've had quite a few.
Over to you.
Starting with, we've got a question from Davey West 1000 from YouTube, on YouTube actually. He's asked, what are the biggest skills you're looking for in a candidate, technical and non-technical, and do you see this changing in 2 to 3 years?
So I think the biggest skills that we're looking for in terms of the technical skills, the specifics are in the job adverts, but in the main, if you're a good software engineer and you can develop in 2 or 3 languages, then you can change language. In terms of development, it's more about the mindset and open to learn new things. I mentioned Java and JavaScript are skills specifically. But yes, in 2 or 3 years' time, we'll be moved on to something else, I've no doubt, and that will be part of the development journey. So I think from that perspective, it's about the ability to be a good developer regardless of your programming languages or preferences. In terms of those non-technical roles, as I say, it's more about the attributes of the person, the being on the front foot. For some of the lead roles, we would expect some experience, in example, product owner or product management. But again, it's more about being owning something, being able to evangelize, being able to sell your product internally and get people bought into your concept and drive the development of that product so that it can be the best that it can be.
Perfect. So we've got another question from Jason from Twitter, who wants us to talk a bit more about the culture.
Sure. So the culture, cake, pizza, chicken,
bribe people
Chicken
here.
Fridays.
The culture is really very relaxed, very open. We have a saying and we have a campaign, active campaign of I can be me in DWP. We absolutely encourage people to bring them whole selves to the workplace. We want people to have a bit of a chatter, a bit of a personality. We like to bring in innovative games during the agile ceremonies, you know, the typical type of stuff that you would see. We like to have a bit of fun. We like to do a bit of social things. Over the last 3 or 4 months, I think we've done across the team, there's been fencing, there's been go-karting, there's been archery, and there's been no injuries, fingers crossed. So,
Did we get the invite for the
No, we
go-karting?
I
didn't get the invite. Yeah, still waiting for those.
So, you know, nice relaxed atmosphere. The space that we work in, as you mentioned, Tia, is fantastic and it promotes all of that collaboration. There's loads of great collaborating space, stand-up space, sit-down space, quiet space away on your own.
We also run lots of hackathons, which I regularly get invited for, and I'm absolutely stunned by some of the talent that we have there and all the problem-solving skills. So it's not just about the work sometimes, it's also about having some fun and using that technology to solve problems. And I always love attending those events because it actually brings that technology to life.
Brilliant. So another question that could be very relevant as well. We've got Maruf Khan, and he wants to know, do we accept candidates with prior experiences from financial services in the private sector? And often we do get candidates who may think they haven't got the relevant sector experience, but they could be relevant technically. So I suppose he wants to know, coming from an FS background, will he be suitable?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think in DWP our closest alignment would be in private sector with the financial sector. So I've mentioned some of the future payment work that's ongoing, particularly working with the Bank of England and the wider banking industry to improve and modernise how we make payments to our citizens. We think where we were 10 years ago with everybody walking down the post office with their order book to now using back payments. We want to move to more real-time, more responsive payments and explore technologies like blockchain. So people who have experience in the finance sector and insurance sector, banking sector are absolutely, we believe, the types of candidates for some of those payment roles in particular.
And also, you don't have to work an 80-hour week as you do in FS. So it's pretty flexible. So that's always a winner.
Definitely,
Brilliant.
definitely.
And guys, we've had lots of questions come through. For anyone that, questions we haven't posed, we'll also try and get back to you individually. But we do have another YouTube question, and it's what's the biggest challenge currently facing DWP Digital and the biggest blockers that might be emerging?
Okay, so I guess the biggest challenge facing us is we have a lot of political change.
Boris.
Yes, we have our new Prime Minister. We have EU exit. We have devolution, we have Scottish Government, we have the Welsh Parliament, we have loads of local mayor type devolution, and creating services that support such a changing political landscape is challenging because we genuinely don't know what's next. So we have to build our services that are flexible enough to cope with whatever gets thrown at us. So that's a big challenge for us. I think one of the other challenges is doing more, building those really cutting edge modern services and getting them out. As a government department, we have to spend wisely. We do have governance processes in place that thankfully have lightened and make it easier for us to deliver. So I feel that we've come a long way in building up our capability. We need to bring in more skills to help shore up that capability to deliver all of those great projects, and those are the types of things that will help us meet those bigger challenges.
Fantastic. Guys, thank you so much for all of the questions you've sent in. Any question that we haven't answered, we'll endeavour to get back to you directly.
So do we have more questions or?
Not at the moment.
Okay, so we're going to close the webinar and we're nearing our end. So many thanks for tuning in and listening, watching us today. I hope you enjoyed it. There is an option to post any questions. We'll leave the feed open for a few more minutes, and once that live stream ends. But don't feel like if you've got a question you can't get in contact with us directly. We're happy to engage, and please remember to leave your name with your question, and we'll try our best to answer you as quickly or individually and as quickly as we can. Also, we look forward to receiving your applications. Don't forget to have a look at our advertised roles on the careers site. That's at the bottom of the screen in the description. All the links are there to all our job boards. If you don't see what you're interested in, don't forget to sign up for any job alerts, and particularly your subject matter or the area that you're looking for a new role in. Follow us on our social media, and also if you feel that there's something that you are looking for that perhaps we're not advertising, then there is a lot of opportunities as part of our epic digital transformation. So feel free to engage and let us know what you're looking for, and we'll try to accommodate. So thanks everybody for tuning in this evening, and good night to everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye.